Former Boeing controls engineer confirms that 737 MAX switches were indeed modified in a manner that kept pilot from disabling the MCAS system separate from own controls. Pilots were not informed and Ethiopian pilot tried to use switches in vain.
Here's a summary of the article.
In the middle of Boeing 737 cockpits, sitting between the pilot seats, are two toggle switches that can immediately shut off power to the systems that control the angle of the plane's horizontal tail. As Boeing was transitioning from its 737-ing model to the 737 MAX, the company altered the labeling and the purpose of those two switches. Peter Lemmy, a former Boeing flight controls engineer who has been closely scrutinizing the MAX design and first raised questions about the switches on his blog, said he doesn't understand why Boeing abandoned the old setup. Boeing said in a statement that the company had historically called for pilots to flip both switches to shut off a problematic or runaway stabilizer, so the change on the MAX ensured that the function of the switches matched that procedure. Lemmy said he's surprised that Boeing made the change to take away the functionality that could have allowed the pilots to shut off MCAS without shutting off the electric switches at their thumbs. A veteran Boeing 737 test pilot said that all Boeing planes have two such cut-off switches, not just the 737. Boeing did not answer questions Friday about the original purpose of the two-switch design on the 737 model, a plane that first entered service in the 1960s, or about whether the company plans any upcoming changes on the cutout switches.
This post received a score of 9,373, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
That pilot must have been so desperate and so scared when he tried to save the plane, HS passengers and his life.
There is data available from Flightradar how at least one of those planes dived and recovered +15 times before plunging straight down. Imagine how scared were all those passengers. And how helpless the pilots. And they still fought like crazy.
And Boeing and a bunch of people on Reddit blame the pilots fucking lowlifes.
There were many disgusting comments about lazy, uneducated foreign pilots. These were good people.
Lots of, well, this has only happened in third world countries with questionable safety, training, USA flights are fine, no reason to ground, shit going around too.
If you're planning a flight, try to avoid Boeings in general. Most commercial airline crashes since the 80s have been with Boeing.
At least according to Wikipedia, Boeing has sold more planes than Airbus 45+%, so statically speaking it makes sense more accidents would involve Boeing.
That, and they also design faulty planes with terrible software.
Someone at Boeing should be brought up on murder charges.
Yes, the board of directors and the CEO.
Oh, you mean like the former CEO whose watch this happened on that is now the Secretary of Defense? Good luck there.
Yup. We are under full regulatory capture in almost every aspect of government now. And I wish that was sarcasm.
Run the regulators. It's crazy how spot-on Noam Chomsky's 10 principles of concentration of wealth and power is. Wait, actually none of it is surprising at all.
Yeah, but Americans associate Chomsky as a lefty commie socialist pinko propaganda devil. They close their ears and eyes when you mention his name.
Somebody really did an amazing job conditioning the public.
Pilot, no, it's cool, we got this. Don't need to nose down in this situation. 737, no fly only crash.
No team, only MCAS.
No Dana, only Zul.
A pilot would normally check at least the corresponding I-strum WNT on the opposite side of the plane, and then another instrument as a sanity check. Worst case can look out the window to check the angle if all else fails. The computer safeguard system would check just one instrument on one side. Boeing also downplayed the change so pilots wouldn't need to get another certification needed to fly a very changed plane.
Greater than really dropped the ball. The system didn't cross-check the instruments. If one instrument malfunctioned, its word was taken as God. This is why I have been saying that Boeing is guilty of gross negligence. They had two angle of attack sensors, but MCAS only used one, which would be fine as long as the system made sure the two agreed, within reasonable variation, before feeding it to MCAS. They didn't do that, which resulted in the plane deciding to try to kill everyone on board if the chosen sensor malfunctioned.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.